I work with Mark Denver, Karofio, and Adagala, and they're my colleagues at Samokweli. And their arrest is very worrying to me because they're not involved at all in the production of Blood Parliament. I don't even know who produced that production. But I know for a fact that we work together, and some of the things that have been taken from them belong to our organization, Samokweli. It is a media house, and we're very concerned. Our government is afraid of the truth. There's nothing wrong with Blood Parliament. What they should be doing is investigating the killer cops who murdered innocent young people outside Parliament. And so right now the government is grappling in the dark, trying to find out who did what. And then trying to find out who did what in the wrong side. They should be trying to find out who are the killer cops and the killer army officers who murdered innocent young people. So I'm asking Kenyans, wherever you are, raise your voice about the arrested filmmakers. And number two, make sure that your parents watch the Blood Parliament. Translated into many languages. BBC has released Blood Parliament. There's a Swahili version of it. Make sure everyone watches it. Serikali inaogopa ukweli. Na sasa ndio wajue kwamba sisi tuwaogopi, lazima ukweli usambazwe nchi nzima. Kila mtu ambaye hajaona Blood Parliament, watch Blood Parliament. Na tusupport wale wazazi ambao watoto wao waliuliwa. Serikali inafaa kushika wauaji, si wale ambao wanatengeneza sinema. Hiyo sinema ni ya ukweli. Inaonyesha kwamba yale mauaji ambayo yalitendeka pale bunge. So tunaomba kwamba paza sauti zenyu wherever you are, toa sauti, wale ambao wameshikwa na wana hatia yote waachiliwe, na serikali pia iwarudishie vitu zao za kazi. Asante.
Hello and welcome to Havana Media, where we dive deep into the stories shaping Kenya and the African continent. Today's episode, we're talking about a powerful story that shows how Kenyans came together to defend freedom of speech. 4 young filmmakers were arrested in Nairobi after a hard-hitting documentary about police violence was released. But because of public pressure, they were released. Here's what happened.
4 Kenyan filmmakers arrested for publication of BBC documentary Blood Parliament have been released on a free bond after an intervention by their lawyer. The 4 spent the night in police custody after a raid and arrest at their offices in Karen, where their tools of work were also confiscated. Victor Ngaruya reports that civil society and media organizations have condemned the incident.
Nicholas Gishuki, Brian Wamai, Brian Adagala, and Mark Karubiu are now free after being arrested for producing Blood Parliament, a BBC documentary revealing identities of security officers who shot at and killed protesters in Parliament in June 2024. Police OBs at Pangani and Muthaiga stations say the 4 were arrested for publication of false information.
From further insight into why they'd been taken, it seems they're being targeted for the publication of the Blood Parliament documentary, which was aired by BBC.
They were taken into custody on Friday night after arrest at their studio in Karen, Nairobi.
Yesterday in the evening, they were, for lack of a better word, they had been taken and rather they had not been given, rather memorialized, and they had been detained for the past 24 hours. 2 of them were actually detained at Pangani police station, and the other 2 were brought to Muthaiga police station.
When the documentary was released last week, a planned community screening was blocked, sparking public outrage. The BBC report singled out police officers believed to have killed 3 protesters after analyzing over 5,000 images to piece together the sequence of events on June 25, 2024. The producers say they are still in limbo on the arrest.
I'm happy for the guys who came through. For sure, definitely friends came through. Relatives came through.
Several civil society and media organizations have condemned the arrest as an attack on press freedom. The Kenya Union of Journalists is calling on the state to stop intimidating journalists.
We are condemning the arrest of the filmmakers who are associated with the Blood Parliament documentary that was run by the BBC. This is obviously intimidation and harassment of the media because the content was good, and that is bold journalism we usually talk about, and therefore the government must stop harassing and intimidating the 4 people who were arrested.
The documentary also renewed calls for the arrest of police officers behind the brutality witnessed during the protest.
On May 2nd, 2025, 4 Kenyan filmmakers, Nicholas Wambugu, Brian Adagala, Mark Denver Karubiu, and Christopher Wamai, were arrested by police at their studio in Karen, Nairobi. The police came in suddenly, took away their cameras, computers, and hard drives, then took them into custody. 2 of them were taken to Pangani police station, and the other 2 were held at Muthaiga. The police said the arrest was because of alleged cybercrimes, like sharing false information, but many believed the real reason was their connection to a powerful documentary called Blood Parliament. Blood Parliament is a documentary made by BBC Africa Eye. It showed video proof that police shot and killed unarmed protesters during the anti-tax protests in Nairobi on June 25, 2024. The film used photos and videos to identify the officers responsible. It shocked the country and got millions of views online. After the film came out, the government canceled planned public screenings and tried to downplay the story. Some people believe the arrest of the 4 filmmakers was an attempt to scare those who supported the documentary. Kenyans didn't stay silent. News of the arrest spread quickly on Twitter, Facebook, and WhatsApp. Hashtags like #BloodParliament and #FreeTheFilmmakers started trending. People were angry. Many thought the arrests were unfair and a threat to freedom of speech. Famous activists like Boniface Mwangi and groups like Vocal Africa and the Law Society of Kenya stepped in. They demanded the filmmakers be released. Thousands of Kenyans posted messages, made calls, and stood up for the young creatives. Lawyers from the Law Society of Kenya, including Ian Mutaiso, helped find the arrested men and pushed for their release. The Kenya Film and Television Professionals Association, KFTPA, also spoke out strongly against the arrest. They said it was wrong to punish people for doing creative work. Many civil rights groups said the arrests were a clear attack on freedom of expression. They called on the government to return the equipment and drop all charges. Even outside Kenya, people noticed what was happening. BBC released a statement saying the filmmakers were not involved in making Blood Parliament. International news outlets reported the story, and human rights organizations showed concern. It was especially embarrassing for the government because this happened right before World Press Freedom Day. Thanks to all the pressure, the filmmakers were released on free bond by May 3, 2025. They hadn't been charged with anything specific. They were free, but their equipment was still with the police. Photos of the 4 smiling outside the police station quickly spread online. They thanked Kenyans for standing with them. It was a big win for free speech and the power of unity. Even though they were released, the case isn't over. The police still have their equipment, and there may be a court case. But the filmmakers now have strong legal teams and public support. Groups are also asking the government to change the law that allows police to arrest people for posting so-called false information. Many say it is too vague and can be misused to silence people. Blood Parliament also made the government promise to investigate police violence during the protests. So the documentary is already creating change. This story proves that when people stand together, they can protect freedom. The filmmakers were not alone. Kenyans spoke up, and it worked. Let us know what you think about this in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more updates. That's it for today's episode right here on Havana Media, and I've been your host, John Mbugua. If you found value in this, make sure to subscribe, like, and leave a comment to let us know your thoughts.